Alright, let's move on. I mentioned the bloodline. Go ahead. Egypt. Alright, hugely important. And the Jews celebrate the Passover that's in remembrance of the coming out of Egypt. Right? Hugely important area in the Bible. The plagues that God empowered Moses to inflict, right? The Red Sea, one of the most exciting portions of Scripture. Israel's labor was increased. That's why, that's why God ended up bringing the suffering upon the people of Egypt, because, they worked the Hebrews to death. They didn't care. A neat legend about that is that they say that during the building of the bricks that the Egyptians were having the Hebrews do, that even if a woman was about to give birth, that they would continue to have her working. And what they say is that a woman gave birth while constructing these bricks, and that the baby was molded into a brick, and that God, knowing their suffering, but knowing that there was a reason that they had to do this, he took that brick, and they say that God uses that brick as a footstool in heaven, that he keeps it near him in remembrance of what the Hebrews went through and what they did. We remember Moses swinging a big stick.
Amen.
Right? Didn't he?
That's right.
Yeah. That's it. He swung a big stick. And what they say about that, just an interesting story, is that Jethro, his father-in-law, had a tree in his yard, and that anyone that wanted to date his daughter, Zipporah, had to lay hands on this tree, and that if he wasn't worthy, the tree would strike him down. And then Moses came, he touched the tree, he was fine. He was so fine, he cut the tree down, he made it his staff, and they say that that's where it came from. The wanderings that they went through are remembered in what's called the Feast of Booths, or Feast of Tabernacles, they call it also. It's just a portable tent. And so it's a celebration or in remembrance that the Jews do every year. They build, and it gives dimensions and stuff in the Bible of how you're supposed to build it. And they do that every year. They build it and they stay outside, and they live in it for the time that is in remembrance for the wanderings of the Hebrews. So I think that's interesting. And then the tabernacle is mentioned in Exodus, and Bezalel, who was the son of Uri, who was the son of Hur, that made all the implements. So they say he was filled with wisdom, knowledge, understanding. Remember mentioning that? Okay, bad. Go to the next one. This is my favorite slide. That's sweet. So Leviticus this is what it goes through: different offerings, festivals, and laws. Right? I highly recommend reading it. I think that people find it to be stale and not fun, but I find it super interesting. And the places in the Bible that not everyone is just rushing to study, know those places, because we all act in different capacities of one body of God, right? One body of Christ, one body of the church. And someone's got to do it, right? So what I want you guys to do is I want you to know the Bible, read the whole dang thing, and then pick a testament that you're more interested in. Pick Old and New. Then after that, pick a section. If it's the New, pick the Gospels, Epistles, whatever. If it's the Old, pick history, Torah, whatever. Know that. And know that like nobody else in the world knows it. Because that'll be your part. And then God uses you to answer the questions of someone who's not up to par in that area. Read it. Okay, thanks. Numbers, very interesting. The Levites. Now, I gotta mention that genealogy, I think. We keep running into this. Now, where the Levites came from, and several of these figures that we've mentioned comes from this one beautiful, righteous bloodline. It's Adam, Seth, Enosh, Canaan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, Noah, Shem, Arphaxad, Selah, Eber, Peleg, Reu, Serug, Nahor, Terah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and then Levi. Right? And now the Levites were the class that carried the implements of the tabernacle. Right? The tabernacle was the temple before it was the temple. It was the portable housing of God. Amen. And the three classes of Levites were the three sons of Levi. It was Gershon, Merari, and Kohath. Okay, those were the three classes that carried the implements, and Levi was the tribe that didn't have a section of land because their inheritance was God. Right. So we have the 12 tribes, but then the 12 members that had inheritance in the land were slightly different. You know, there wasn't Levi and there wasn't Joseph, but there was Joseph's sons. You know, Manasseh. What was the other one? Anyway, so that's what's different about that, and that's that bloodline that I find so interesting. The people complaining, right, and Moses having to deal with this. It's interesting how Moses was the one that set up the judges, because he was the one that had to listen to all the complaining and decide what to do. And imagine all these, the numbers vary in how many people, everyone thinks actually was in there during the wanderings, but Moses had his handful, is the deal. And there was even one time, you remember, his sister even complained and ended up with leprosy, right? She didn't die, but she was restored. This is where Aaron's rod buds, right? Aaron, being from the tribe of Levi, his staff that represented Levi budded, and then ends up being what's along with the showbread and the commandments in the ark, right? The holy ark of the covenant. Go to the next one, brother. Deuteronomy, the second law, is what it means. And some of the Jews find that translation somewhat offensive. But really what it means is like a repeating of the law. Deuteronomy, it goes through all the trials and battles that Moses went through. It's like a treaty. In many ways, the whole thing is set up just like an international treaty would be. Go to chapter 6. Go to chapter 6 of Deuteronomy. Now